Hello, fellow human. Welcome back to another Dank Doggo r/ChoosingBeggars. So our story for today is from u/LDZ with the title of A Man Misunderstands Flight Attendants' Directions and Feels Entitled to a Free Premium Seat because they won't apologize for lying to him. This happened last night and it was one of the most satisfying encounters I've ever had with someone with a downright comical sense of entitlement. I took a flight from San Francisco to Boston. That was in the afternoon after a full day of work. I have a $200 airline credit to use on just this one flight before I lose it at the end of the year, so I was debating between trying to drink through the $200 of free booze over the 6 hours flight versus upgrading my seat to the front row. In the end, I decided to go with the seat upgrade and pick the window seat in the absolute front row of the plane with a shameful amount of legroom and an empty middle seat. I never get upgrades, so this felt like quite a luxury to me. Turns out the rest of the plane was completely full, so I was feeling pretty good about this decision. However, I still had some work to do on my laptop and was disappointed that because there were no seats in front, I could not keep my backpack in front of me, and I realized I had to go fight the mob of people still boarding for some overhead bin space before they all filled up. There was a very nice businessman sitting in the aisle seat in my row who stood up to help me. This is irrelevant later. The overhead bins filled very quickly, at which point the flight attendant at the plane door started announcing, "Overhead bins are almost full. Put your bags in the first one you see," to all the people still boarding the plane. Now, here comes the last man to board the plane. He's about 6'3" and he runs in and kind of shoots the crap out of one of the flight attendants for a few minutes. And I'm not paying too much attention besides hoping he's going to take the middle seat, and the fact that he's talking very loudly. He seems to be a bit drunk. For the rest of the story, I will call this man Dirk, because I don't know what the male version of Karen is. Nobody's in any rush to start getting ready for takeoff, and we soon know why. The pilot gets on the loudspeaker and says because the weather in Boston, we need to wait here before we can take off. Now, Dirk has stopped talking to the flight attendant and starts to walk down the aisle, sees our empty seat, and announces, "Cool, I'll take this first seat because it's empty." Throws his backpack down the space in front of us and slams himself into the middle seat. Now, of course, I wouldn't have minded if someone had purchased the middle seat, but now I'm grumbling a bit internally, thinking about how I spent my airline credit on this upgrade instead of booze, while this guy is going to get a nice seat for free. And nobody immediately came up to him and asked him to move his backpack, so I'm also frustrated that I had to go to put mine away, and now his back is in front of my feet. And finally, Dirk is being extremely loud and vocal. For example, when the pilot came out of the loudspeaker again and said we would be waiting for 45 minutes before takeoff, Dirk yelled out this man, "Man, this is some BS." Stuff like that over and over. So at this point, I haven't said anything to him, but I'm sitting there probably looking like this. It's been about 5 minutes already, not too long, but I'm starting to think they're just going to let this fly. Then comes one of the flight attendants and walk up to this guy and says, "Sir, can I please see your boarding pass?" The man laughs a bit and says he just showed it at a gate, and the flight attendant repeats that he would like to see it. So the man starts rummaging through his backpack and hands the attendant some crumpled up paper and then goes back to his phone. The flight attendant then uncrumples it and now starts to look annoyed and goes, "Sir, you just handed me a receipt. Try again." The man starts belly laughing like, "Oh, my bad," and then start pull his boarding pass from his pocket. Of course, he is in 32B, and the flight attendant asks him to go to his assigned seat. Now, they start a flight with Dirk saying, "But the guy said to take the first available seat. Nobody is sitting here anyway." And the flight attendant repeating that he didn't know how he heard that, but people need to pay to upgrade these seats and he needs to go to his assigned seat now. Things start to get heated and Dirk is full on screaming now, saying, "Why did he say to take the first available seat then? Why was he lying?" The attendant is yelling back, "This isn't Southwest." And the rest of the plane is silent and watching. Now, at this point, I'm guessing Dirk misinterpreted the guy at the door saying to throw your bags in the first available overhead bin, but did not want to get involved and have this potentially drunk man next to me direct his anger at me. The flight attendant announcing this was being very clear about this, being for bags as well, so I think Dirk was just making up excuses. At this point, there are 3 flight attendants in the aisle arguing with Dirk, who still scream repeating the same thing about being lied to over and over. They're saying he needs to move or get kicked off the plane, and Dirk is replying that, of course he would rather make it home to Boston tonight than kicked off, but he needs an explanation first as to why they lied to him. In comes a boss of a lady who wasn't taking any of Dirk's crap to join the argument. She interrupts Dirk and says, "Look, you have 2 options. Take your assigned seat or get off the plane. I don't care what you think you heard. I don't know why we are still having this conversation." Then, when Dirk would open his mouth to continue arguing with the lady, would hold up to her hand and yell, "Ah!" like a mother silencing their toddler having a tantrum, and I'm sitting there 6 inches away from the action watching this go all down like this. Dirk sits there in silence for a few moments, mouth open looking at this lady, and then stays sitting in the seat and looks back at his phone and starts mumbling again in a low voice about being lied to. At this point, the 3 flight attendants walk away and Dirk seems to think he's won. But ho and behold, 1 minute later, security comes on the plane. Now, seeing this, Dirk stands straight up and says, "Okay, I'll take my seat," and then start walk down the aisle, but they stopped him and removed him from the plane, and we didn't see him again. And me, the nice man sitting in the aisle seat, ended up getting free drinks for the rest of the flight for the troubles. TLDR, a guy on my flight tried to snag an unoccupied premium class seat for free because he misheard directions, commits to keeping the seat when they threaten to kick him off the plane, and ends up getting kicked off the plane. I got free drinks for the rest of the flight. It's really interesting that thanks to that choosing beggar Dirk, OP ended up having both premium upgraded seat and free drink for the entire flight. So his choice, in fact, was absolutely correct. It was very professional how the flight attendants managed it. Providing free drinks as a way to compensate for the delay and the terrible experience on the plane. So it was nice justice for OP to going through all of those cringy moments. As for Dirk, this clown probably made the whole thing up and start to spewing out BS just to save face. I think he had done this multiple times before, then the flight attendants usually don't recheck the boarding ticket, but hey, bad karma will come sooner or later. Then he starts to act all nice when there were 2 clear options being presented. Either take a seat that he had bought or being kicked off the plane. Too bad for Dirk, the security came in and just kicked him out. Too late to regret now. And possibly this would also result in a lifetime ban as well for making a scene and wasting everybody's time on the plane. That's it for today, fellow humans. Thanks for watching. Dank Doggo appreciates your time. If you enjoy our content and want to see more of us, stay tuned and subscribe. Don't forget to smash that like button or Doggo will cry. Also, you can always tell us your Doggo comments, your experiences in the comment section. I'll catch up with you guys later in the next video.